Hit it. Oh, how you feel, brother? You feel good? Play so much bones up. How you feel, man? How you feel, brother?
How you guys doing? Good? Well, as he told you, we are Reuben and Toya Levi. I am Toya Levi.
How y'all doing? Oh, is it on? Yeah, it's on?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh. My name is Reuben Levi. I go by Levi. Kind of the curse to have two first names. People kind of pick either one. But, so it's Levi, Toya Levi. And I guess we're going to talk today a little about what our company is Grits, or Grits Co. And a little bit of Southern soul, a little flavor. And, first off, we just want to tell everybody
Hello, and thank you for coming to Memphis to see us, as well as us coming to Memphis. We want to most likely thank, more than anything, the Creative Works people. They were so helpful and awesome to bring us out. So thank you to both Dan and Josh, Emily, all the volunteers, and mostly, but not last but not least, God is who we put everything for. So we thank God for helping us get here. So just to give you guys a little bit of info about who we are and where we come from and what is grits. A lot of people automatically assume when you hear the word grits, you think of this, which is not a problem. It's a Southern soul food. It's a Southern food, which is awesome to eat. You can either have it one of two ways, either sweet with honey, butter, sugar. Some people like it in the morning, or you can have it.
My favorite is dinner, shrimp.
Fish and grits.
Fish and grits.
But that's not what our clothing line is about. Our clothing line references a lot of what true grit is. And true grit is what you're made of. It's the hard work that you put into life that all of us here have done. It's the ethic that you put work behind yourself. And we look at the movie True Grit and Rooster Cogburn and what he stood for in the movie and how he kind of helped fight off so much. He really did show true grit. And that's what we reference when we say grits. It's the passion that we all have for what we believe in and what we are here to create. It's the perseverance to never give up, to keep going, and to be hard with what you want in life. And it's also the determination. It's that hard work that's what you make to make grits. It's kind of grit, what you want to say, but we put the S on it because we got to have a lot of it to make what you want to make here in life. So our motto is no grits, no glory. So grits is the hard work that you put in. If you want to get what you want out of it, to get that glory, you have to work hard for it. And that's what our brand is about. We are a Southern clothing line that's out of Houston, Texas, but that's what we make all of our things about, is just basically that hard work. And it's our spin that we put on it to give back to the passion and the resilience.
A lot of what Grit stands for is or actually like what our family stands for is, well, grits is like our freedom, our survival, our design, and our partnership. With grits, it's kind of like our motto, no grits, no glory. Like we're kind of fighting for these each and every day, and that's what ultimately what we put into our brand, ultimately makes up our lives and our motto.
Right. So let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about how we got here and what makes us so awesome, I guess you can say.
Well, I'm from Houston, born and raised, Houston, Texas to be exact. Just that big Texas up there. I know we're in Tennessee, but this big Texas is like where I'm from, pretty much. She calls me a Texas boy. That's all I've pretty much known. For Toya, it's been a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, I was a military brat, so I kind of grew up with that grit lifestyle. My father was a master sergeant in the Air Force. So I was born in Michigan, grew up in Hawaii, lived in Oklahoma, went to college in Kansas, and then I arrived in Texas. Okay, so I'm used to traveling and moving and shaking. I like experiencing new places, and right now I'm loving Memphis. So, woo, go Memphis. So Tennessee has definitely been awesome, and a lot of this is important because that's the culture and the influence that we take to help with our brand. We take a little bit of influence from all of these places and we put our own spin on it to make it something that is mostly a Southern lifestyle brand, showing and representing the South. We both met in the beautiful city of Austin, Texas, where my father is retired and where I was living at the time, and where we get a lot of our creative inspiration from as well.
Yeah, we first, just to give our background, we met in Austin at a party or a club, whatever you want to call it, and we had a lot of fun with each other. Basically, we linked up, and when one thing led to another, I think about 6 months. Next, you know, we're
about 6 months. Next
getting
thing,
married.
we were getting married on the
Boom,
beach in
married on the
Galveston.
beach.
We decided not to waste any time. We felt the partnership was a good grind and a good inspiration. I dealt a lot with marketing. He dealt a lot with his graphic design and management for me. So between that combination, we felt the need to just go ahead and make a partnership. And that's why we say teamwork makes the dream work, because it really is the partnership of a team that can make our dream come together for what Grits is.
So
6 months later.
6 months later, baby Brooklyn.
We had our Brooklyn Pearl. And that's who you'll see with us. You might see her with us every now and then if you're here, if you come to the market. She's our baby girl, and she goes with us everywhere. We're trying to instill in our family very young what it's like to work hard and what Grits is made of. So she definitely comes and travels with us. Sometimes, right now she's with a nanny, but we definitely want them to understand and see us working, to see that we're working and we're living this dream for a purpose. And so we had her, and she brought us together for sure. And this is our full family of our daughter Nasaya and Brooklyn, and a trip that we took.
We took a, man, it was a long trip. It started off as a 2-week trip. Going west, kind of like our chilling circuit going west, and we ended up about 5 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks going out to the West Coast. We went to San Diego, spent a couple weeks there, went to LA for
Arizona, New Mexico. But that's the power of Instagram. And that's what's so awesome, is the power of Instagram, because as we posted about our trip, we started off camping. Just every year we do a team building exercise with us, and we go camping, not RVing. We go camping where we pitch a tent. We rough it. We try to see how long we can make. It's not
Toya,
the Marriott.
Toya calls it. She says it's camping. We're like a little bit.
It's kind of glamping.
I mean, we got a little AC on our. I'm
a little spoiled. I like my air conditioner. So yes, we do put an AC unit on the tent, but and a very high air mattress.
Yeah,
but through that experience and us talking about it and Instagramming about it and talking about it on our trip, our fans just started reaching out to us. Hey, where are you at? We want to link up with you. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to meet the family. They all knew the family was with us. And we were like, okay. And it would start off as dinner. And next thing you know, they'd say, hey, I have this old RV that's classic movie set RV. You can stay with us.
Stay here for a couple days,
hey, I have this. You guys can stay with us. And we're like, we don't want to stay with you guys, but okay, we'll try it out. And it's just part of the story. And it made the trip even better. So it went from a 2-week planned small vacation to a 6-week trip. We hiked up mountains to natural hot springs. We went to stayed on the beach all the time.
And we stayed on Skid Row in LA.
Yeah, we saw Skid Row and where people really are camping. And we were like, whoa, wait a minute a second.
Camping on the streets.
This is scary. So, but through that, we take our girls with us and we teach them the same things of no grits, no glory, with the hard work that you put into it, that this mom and pop shop can take us to the top if we just stay focused and have that perseverance. So, like I said, grits is what you're made of. Reuben does all of the graphic design work for us. A lot of things he hand draws first, and then we vectorize it and put it in. This is one of our first original logos. If you see out at our booth, we have a little bit of a different spin on it now, where it has a little bit of a lightning strike under it, and that's just because that's just for this year. But that's one of the first logos. And once I said,
what I do is you just draw. The whole idea for Grits is that we kind of start off as a Southern staple lifestyle brand, and I just wanted to, we were kind of thinking about a character, and I had a dream one night that kind of came up with a crow, and I wasn't sure about it just because as African Americans, we usually think about, you say crow, we're thinking about Jim Crow, and we're like, I don't know about that, but we were. My wife actually kind of convinced me. It was like, you know what? If you draw it out, like see how it goes, and
Well, it was a little bit more than that. The next morning, after he told me about the dream, we went downstairs, and crows, you see them in the South. I opened up the front door, the whole front yard was filled with crows. And they're not small birds. And so I knew they were crows, and I said, oh my gosh, wait a minute, we're going with this crow thing no matter what. Like, if they're gonna send us that big of a sign, we're gonna rock with this crow. And so that's exactly what we did.
Like, okay, well, I guess so. So we started drawing out some stuff, and I always like vintage stuff. I like older things, just period. Love older typography, older packaging design. I mean, from 40s, 50s, early 60s. And that's pretty much the eras that we kind of borrow from. And Ross Crow is basically a crow that came out of the 20s and 30s, like Oswald the Rabbit or Felix the Cat, and we just kind of interject them in periods in time and just move them ahead.
And we got him a little bit, we pulled a little inspiration from everywhere. So he came a little bit from the crows off of The Wiz, where Michael Jackson was a crow, or he was a scarecrow. A little bit from the crows from Dumbo as well. And we just kind of pulled all that inspiration together, and Levi drew him out into different settings, and you'll see him everywhere. After that, we decided to ask our fans to name them, and we had a lot of names come in. So the name that stuck was Ross Crow, and he's kind of our mascot, and he kind of does all kind of little things throughout our whole series, and we put him on our shirts.
And I think the interesting thing was that we wasn't really, it was just playing around with the crow, and after people seemed to really dig him, and as a designer, we're just getting the feedback off of Facebook at the time, and later Instagram, was that people just like seeing Ross Crow kind of do whatever. So for us, it was like Ross Crow already existed in a different time period. He's here now, and we would do like mock-up. I would kind of do some pixel pushing and make them existing in 50s, 60s, different billboards back to 40s. And this is our inspiration. I do like use a vision board for pretty much every line or every, this is actually a vision board for just when we first started off thinking about the brand. And I kind of just borrowed a little bit of everything I liked and said, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. And just kind of like became the basis for what Grits is.
And we love the vision board idea. I know some people think it might be a little cheesy, but it's something that we've done even on our first date. We created vision boards together, and why it's so important to us is because it gives us both a clue of where we're going with something and why we're going there. It gives you something to work towards, a goal to keep pushing towards. So we'll take magazines, we'll take things that we find around, and we'll make little vision boards even in the house. If it's vacations for the girls or anything like that, it gives us a concrete idea so that we can kind of keep that focus and keep ourselves motivated to get those things that we see on the vision board, or just to even continue to use those things to collaborate, from the moonshine bottle to the Good Company barbecue. We love barbecue, so hopefully Memphis, we're gonna
I'm
test out
interested
y'all's
about
barbecue.
Memphis barbecue here.
So anybody have any
if anybody got some
suggestions?
suggestions, yeah. Central.
Okay.
Oh, we got a little beef
I
already.
think we're gonna try, because I think we
So-
might have tried Central before, but we'll try Barbecue Shop. I think if that's the one
Barbecue
by.
shop.
Okay, we'll try both.
Oh, that's
of
the
them.
business. Okay.
Barbecue shop.
Now, I'm a little biased. I am from Texas, and we do love our barbecue. I know it's a. Ah.
We're gonna try everything. We're gonna try everything,
Okay,
Memphis.
I will do that.
But it shows you a little bit of our inspiration and where it all comes from being from Houston, the Screwed Up Clique, which is definitely hip hop. I'm a big hip hop head, but we go back into the vintage style. Lightning Hopkins is up there. He's a big Houstonian that played the blues. So this gives you a little idea of what our vision boards look like. This is another throwback to vintage style. We actually have these as buttons, but this was a shirt of ours, and it's from the old Mel's Diner, where she used to say, "Kiss my grits." And so that's the same thing, and the reason why we put it with Ross is to kind of show that same throwback style. It's like it doesn't get old.
Yeah, it's
And the grits is our hard work, so you can always say that.
like kiss my grit. This is just another one. One of our shirts. Usually we're pretty, I don't say big on Instagram, but Instagram was like became the first like vision board. We do a vision board, but it became like kind of a live vision board for us through pictures, through vintage goods that we have, and I do a lot of mock-up stuff with just to show our shirts and brand. And this is one of them. Happiness is grits. Live life to the fullest, have fun. You live like Ross Kroger, he can do what the hell he wants to do, and I think that's why people kind of really just dig it. Here's another one.
We're going to go into our 10 gritty commandments.
Yeah.
So we have commandments that we live by that helps run our mom and pop shop besides the teamwork makes the dream work. So these are 10 things that we definitely use to help us stay focused. And they're Southern sayings. We might say them in a day-to-day basis. It might be something funny you hear, and it might be something we also throw on a shirt at times. So the 10th one is don't count your chickens before they hatch. I think that one's pretty honest. It's kind of like growing a farm or growing a garden. You can't expect to get those things from the garden. This is actually our land out in Oklahoma. But you plant the seeds, and you don't know what's going to come up. You don't know if you're going to get a productive fruit. You don't know anything. So you can't count it before it comes. You just have to stand strong and just hope for the best. But don't count your chickens before they hatch. A lot of times people do that. They think, oh, I got this $1 million idea. I know I can do this. And they go out and they spend all this money. You don't have to spend all this money. This has come from me and my husband working together.
Yeah, just
out of our home.
Out of our home, taking what we have and making the most out of it. I think for all of us is, I guess, like for people who want to do things and kind of get out of the normal 9-to-5 muck, putting work in doesn't have to require you to raise an enormous amount of money or wait till like when everything is right. I always say start off with what you got. And literally, we didn't imagine we would get to this point at this moment right now, but we just kind of took some drawings and put on shirts. I mean, this is a patch right here that changed, actually a handmade chain stitch patch that someone made for us. And what's amazing about it is that people just kind of took on Ross Crow and started to actually make stuff and send us stuff. And we didn't see that coming, but I definitely enjoy seeing it, how it's spread.
And that's why we say teamwork makes the dream work. Mm-hmm. So even if you don't have a physical partner, your team is your social media, what you can do on your computer, what you can do off of your own hands and just make it work. And that's what we've done, rather it's getting rubber stamps and hand stamping stuff ourselves. The first few shirts that we made, I was in there sewing the tags in the back, like, oh my God, are we seriously? Like yeah. But it was just making a little bit of something out of nothing because we didn't know what was this going to bring us. We didn't know what grits was going to bring us. We didn't want to put our family at risk or put anything at risk because we didn't know what it was going to bring. We just knew that if we kept on doing it and kept on exposing ourselves to the right social media and keeping ourselves up to date with everything, anything can happen. So that's why we say just don't count your chickens before they hatch, but definitely put your all into it. It doesn't take money to get what you need to get out of life because a lot of stuff have come to us just by using social media, which is free.
Our 9th commandment is one monkey don't stop no show. Something my grandmother always used to say, and me and our family kind of says, you always get to these points where it's like everything doesn't happen for you exactly how you're looking or you envision it to be. And I think with sometimes when you're doing projects, you're kind of looking for either some adulation or people like to help you move along. And honestly, it's you just putting your own grind to it. It's you're putting your own taste onto it, and it's really just going to be all on your back. No one can't hold you back, and if someone tells you no, you'll find another way. I think it's just a part of being an entrepreneur, just doing different designs and stuff. It's like you have to push with a forward motion and focus when you're becoming your own business, your own boss.
And this is actually someone that, he's from Tennessee, he's from Nashville. But
no, he's from Knoxville.
Knoxville, sorry.
Yeah.
But he's a skateboarder, and he loves our brand, and he does it, we send him shirts, next thing we know, he's doing videos, he's doing everything it takes. And we don't have to look towards other people sometimes. You just have to know that keep going no matter what, and one monkey don't stop a show. It just keeps on moving on. As long as you want it to go, there's gonna be someone else that will reach out to you, that will do things for you, that will help out in any way that you can. This is another one of our shirts. We actually have this one in the booth here at the market, but let the good times roll. And this is a vintage inspiration of old motorcycles. We love to see old photos of motorcycles and people riding motorcycles.
And that we're in the latest. It's one of it's the latest issue of
Latest
Iron and
issue
Air.
of
Was
Iron and
interviewed
Air
with us.
magazine, which is a magazine specifically for motorcycles. So,
Yeah, it's a motorcycle lifestyle magazine.
and they did the recent one, we were written up in it. So we're really proud of that. And we're going to be actually a contributing writer to it because of some of the things that we find they have never seen before, and they want us to make sure we're inputted. And once again, that was someone that found us on Instagram. Found us on Instagram, started asking other friends about us, and they knew who we were as well. And next thing we know, hey, can you guys be in this magazine? Did a full open spread on us, and we were really appreciative of that as well. Like I said, this is us.
This is one of our our vision board pictures, I guess, or we like to vision ourselves doing.
But it just
kind of
shows
outlaws doing whatever we want
that's
to do.
just me and him rolling together. One monkey doesn't stop a show. As long as me and him are rolling together, we're good. Look at all the people in the background standing around looking. It's like you can't wait on them to come help you. Seriously, you can't wait on anybody to come help you because they're not going to. You got to do it on your own.
I mean, I suppose for his pictures also, if anyone follows Instagram, a lot of our images beside Ross Crow has the graphics of the line is like kind of one part of Grits. The other part really has to do with telling the story of what's become is telling the story of African Americans in America. And when looking up, I have a lot of people who follow online, and we would see from Tejanos and in LA, just early early 40s, 50s, 60s, even Japanese early stuff. Looking for different styles, and I was curious about African American, just kind of like what existed that was kind of off the tangent. And what I found was I became actually quite obsessed with it. Was looking up pictures from this era. Most of these pictures are not like it's not for some parts. For most part, they're not a whole lot of magazine photos or a lot of photo spreads of African Americans just because of the time. Mostly like personal pictures of one of blacks, motorcycle gangs, motorcycle clubs, street rotting, shops, all kind of all kind of things that I never knew personally. And I wanted just to showcase it so like even when in a place where you don't think there's opportunity, that you can still make the most of it. And I believe that for anybody, for every ethnic group, any group that's here in America, that it really takes grit to make things happen. And no grits, no glory is what we keep saying. As like that's really what we live on and what we live by. And we just kind of want to show different parts of our culture and just see like we're pretty much the same. We all like to have fun, like to experience different things.
So, our 8th commandment, closed mouths don't get fed. Closed mouths don't get fed is a very big and important one. Sometimes we don't understand it, but it really shows and gives you the insight that if you don't ask for something, you can't expect to get it. So sometimes you just have to simply ask. For example, this is Leon Bridges. He's one of the top artists out right now in R&B and soul, and he's rocking grits. All we did was send him a package with a letter saying, hey, we noticed you follow us on Instagram. You mind, here's some cool shirts to wear when you're not in your suit. He was just on the cover of GQ magazine. He's put out as one of the smoothest brothers to be dressed right now. He definitely has that throwback sound that we show and we visualize with on Grits. So he was all about the brand. Next thing we know, not only did we get one picture, not 2 pictures, but several. He did a whole photo shoot rocking our brand. So that's why we say closed mouths don't get fed. Sometimes all you have to do is ask people. All they can say is no, and you say, okay, thank you very much. Stay kind and gracious and keep it moving. That's it. You can't say that everybody, I'm not saying to contact every star in the world to help you, but sometimes all you have to do is reach out to them. They're just like us. They put their pants on one leg at a time. So you just kind of give them the whole inspiration. But he's traveling right now. He's definitely if you haven't listened to his music, check him out. You'll love that vintage soul that he offers. He has that throwback, and not only that, but he's a Texas boy, just like Reuben. So we like to support him. This is another one we reached out to, which was a DJ named Stack Ali. You can actually download this mix on our website, Shim Sham Shimmy. It's a 50s, 60s inspired mix of music that gives us inspiration to work to. All we did was ask him simply, hey, would you mind DJing and making us a little mix? No problem. Y'all do the cover artwork. Okay, we got it. That's not a problem. And he did the whole throwback songs that I would never find, never know. It's like he went to Stax Records archives and pulled them all out himself and did the 45s.
Rhythm and blues. And
yeah.
It's crazy. So you can download that.
Yeah, and so we love being able to say closed mouths don't get fed.
Either fish, seventh commandment we kind of came with is either you fish or cut bait, or you cut bait. It's kind of like you shit or you get off the pot kind of situation. This is a nice way of saying it, but I think when it came to making things happen, you have to you can either sit on the sideline, or you can just watch someone doing the work, or you can get out there and do it yourself. And this is one of my favorite pictures. It's a rare picture. I've found this one place, but it's a picture of Martin Luther King just wearing a denim suit.
And you usually see him in a suit and tie.
Yeah.
You don't usually see photos of him looking like regular, relaxed. It's like they always want to portray him as a reverend. But he definitely was a reverend, but he was hard working, and he
wearing a Wrangler's jacket over here. So this is cool thing.
And sometimes it takes some extra grit when you have to fish or cut bait. That's why we put those brass knuckles. It takes some hard work. You never know what you're going to get into, but you've got to put in that hard work to get that job done. So the sixth commandment, come hell or high water. And this was actually one of our best-selling shirts also that we had Ross Crow on. So when we look at come hell or high water, it's just basically no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it is, you got to get it done. The picture we showed back at the beginning where Reuben was on the farm planting that farm, this is my grandmother right here. Let me see, this little girl. She's 98 years old and still lives on the farm that you saw. We received that farm when we ran the land run in Oklahoma. She's the definition of come hell or high water. She came from Chicago with not much of nothing and put her family out there in the land run so that generations to come, I could still live off of that land, as loyal as my grandbaby, her great-grandbaby, generations of us. And that's the reason why we work so hard. Every one of us here at one time or at some time or another, we're gonna have generations come behind us. So we wanna make sure that we're leaving a legacy for them to look up to. And she's done the same for me. No matter what, she had to put it out there, go through the Great Depression, go through, she was mixed at the time. So for her to be even growing up in that time frame, you look at the census and it says mulatto, they didn't even want to count some people, especially the Native Americans in that area. So it's just kind of basically looking at come hell or high water, get that job done, work hard for yourself, and get to where you want to get to no matter what. It's either going to be one or two things. Either you're going to drown in the high water or you're going to deal with the hell. But sometimes that hell is what's going to help you get that grit and help you stay grinding on what you want to get that success.
Well, another part of what we do is we do like a lot of vintage stuff, and as we realize, it's like I like collecting a lot of stuff, and I have a bunch of crap in our garage. We figured like we need to make some things, basically kind of doing grits or doing our version of early. This right here is was an aviator bag I got from Break and Rumble, and What I did was like doing a stencil on like a World War like kind of like World War II style bag, and doing some things, and some vintage products. What's this one? This right here is another one of our designs. Kind of like Come Hell High Water. It's really influenced by Wendell Scott, which is he just got inducted to the Hall of Fame, NASCAR's Hall of Fame, I believe this year, or last year, I believe. And he was like the first black NASCAR racer. He went through a whole lot of stuff just to get there. Literally not getting sponsors, from literally winning a race and having to actually taken away from him. We like to kind of code things in different work, but just really referencing that we do what we want. If you live life to the fullest, I mean, there's going to be problems, but if we keep pushing forward, we can make it through. This is our fifth one.
You got to pay the piper if you want to dance to the music, and that comes with anything, including, I heard this from my boss back in the day, so it's mostly your taxes. You got to make sure you pay your taxes, because if you don't, they'll come shut everything down.
They'll shut it all down.
So that's Leon dancing, and that's just basically make sure you pay your vendors, make sure you pay the people that help you, make sure you pay everyone that's around, because you got to pay if you want to dance to the music. So don't get too big for your britches is our fourth commandment.
This is just as a reminder for us and a reminder for all of us to always kind of stay humble, to always remember where your roots are from, to remember like what's your original why you did, the reason why you did something. Sometimes we kind of can get too, my dad always used to say, don't get too big for your britches, like don't get beside yourself and all this stuff.
But to stay humble.
Yeah, stay humble. Always remember where you're from, and I think it's always just kind of a reminder of why you did. If you want to pursue doing your own job, doing your own work, whatever, like remember the reason why you did in the first place. And I think that's always a good place of reference for you to move on to the future. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
All right.
This is okay.
So everything that glitters is not gold is our third commandment. This is just a reference to, at first when you think it's all going to start out good, sometimes it's not going to be easy. It's going to be some hard times. Like he probably thought this was a great idea at one time to let his son ride on his back until 2 hours later, his son was still on his back. So everything that glitters is not gold. It does take a lot of hard work. Just because we're standing up here looking all shiny and new, it took us a lot of hard work to get even the littlest things done. But you just got to keep on grinding hard, keep on living life, and just keep on giving it your all.
Birds of a feather flock together. And what we learned just as we've been building our brand, I think like minds kind of attract each other. Doing the pictures, the photos, we literally just grab all kind of friends and family. Like that's what really made us. This is Bobby and Ben Hundreds. We did an interview at the Hundreds while we were in LA. That was totally by happenstance. Only before the
And the
picture.
Hundreds is a huge streetwear brand. We're not streetwear, but they're big fans of ours. They order stuff from us all the time, and here they are with this huge warehouse, this huge industry type thing, and we're just little old us. So this is another group of mom and pop. We like working with other mom and pops. It's just kind of they understand what it's like working with your husband or wife. They own Self-Edge Denim, which is a high-end denim company. Average jean costs about like $300, which is way over my denim prices. I'm a Levi's girl, so you can put me in some Levi's. But they were really nice people, and they came to Houston to visit us so that we could talk about future endeavors. And this is our mentor, Stack Ali. He is actually the brand ambassador for PF Flyers, which is a cool shoe that we like to wear. And his friends from Break and Rumble, which is another mom and pop company out of San Diego that does vintage supplies. So they supply us with a lot of our vintage goods that they send to us. Once again, another Instagram family member that we've been able to.
We made a lot of Instagram. I guess it's not really Instagram friends. It became Instagram family.
We got on Instagram right when it got going. So we were able to build everything organically. So everybody that we know, when you see our number, it's not paid for people. Some people pay for Instagram followers. Don't do that. Build it up
Marginal.
one by one, because when you do it like that, you know who the people are that's following you, and you can tell because the like numbers will amount to the conversations underneath the feed as well. It won't just be 100 likes and then nobody's talking underneath the feed. That lets you know that they're paid for. So
Yeah, if you have
you want to
10,000 people
organically grow
following
it.
you only have like 10 likes on a picture on average, then you already know what's going on.
And of course, our first commandment, as well as our motto, is
Oh, no risk, no glory, man. And we really come back to this about just about everything. This is the mode of doing graphic design. That got to a point where I didn't really like doing it anymore. Well, you do it for different people, but ultimately, I think everyone kind of like wants to do their own thing. And for us, it's like we wanted to step out and do this, and we always constantly remind ourselves to push yourselves to the next level. Is that you can't get anywhere without any hardship. If you think you're going to get it easy, then good luck on that. So just to keep a reminder, is like keep pushing for whatever y'all want to do, whatever kind of projects, whatever's sitting in the back of your mind right now, or has been sitting in the back of your mind for the last couple of days or weeks or months or even years. Like step out and do it. It don't take much.
Fight for it.
And fight for it.
Yeah,
fight for
fight
all your
hard.
might. Go and do it. You might lose some money. You might lose some people, lose some friends, but it's worth doing at the end of the day if it makes you happy. So keep pushing.
Yeah, that's our family again. And so, like we say, we march to the beat of our own drum.
This is just a reminder. I don't want to leave this creative conference while telling you that it was easy for us, but when we first stepped out, like a lot of people, even friends, families, whatever, all the above, you always got some naysayer, somebody telling you something that you can't do, it's not worth it, and it's like, why even go through all the trouble? And I believe that if you're not creating trouble, you ain't creating much. So with you're doing design, like don't follow the rules, break all the damn rules you can, and have fun doing it, because that's really where that's going to help you get farther in life than following anything.
So that's us again. That's my Brooklyn Pearl. Follow us on all of our social media if you can, at Wear Grits. It's the same handle on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know. Link up with us. Stop by our booth at the market. We'll be here all weekend. Actually, Friday, I'll be speaking in a panel about feminism. So please come to that panel, ladies. Support ladies. And men, we'd love to see you guys there too. And thank you guys very much. Good job.
Thank you, guys. Any questions for Reuben and Toya? Yeah.
Coming up as like a young designer, I have like a huge love and passion for vintage things, and sometimes it's hard to follow that when there's a lot of other people that want to pursue that. But in order to like stick out amongst these other brands and artists, for having a love for something so old and like really modernized and like digital upcoming, how do you like what kind of advice do you give to artists like myself to kind of stand out and follow your passion, and if you like really love like a style like that, how you can kind of still be successful with what you love?
I think first stepping out, I think you have to step out on faith. It doesn't mean that you're going to see the next step, but you have to step out no matter what. Like, growing up, just me liking this stuff, knowing, my friends would kind of look at me like I was crazy, that I would like a little vintage Matchbox and be like, oh, that's really dope. You see the ink right here, and it looks all like weird and imperfect, but it looks really cool. And it's like, what the hell is he talking about? That's weird, But I think if you love something, go and pursue it. I believe there's an industry for virtually everything. There's always a niche. There's people there. Us just being on Instagram kind of led us to finding people who were like-minded. And I think, the internet, any social media if you follow along, I think they kind of like lead. You'll start to see kind of like breadcrumbs. You'll see like, oh wow, there's some people who like
And there's
these
room
vintage cars
for
over
all
here.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like make your lane. You can create whatever lane you want. And you ride in it till the wheels fall off. Just make your own lane. Don't let no one tell you anything else. And you got to block those people out a lot of times because that's the stuff that will tear you down before you even get a chance to build yourself up.
That was great. Anyone else?
Yeah, right there.
Do you all do your own photo styling? How did you
That hefty iPhone, girl. You got to use that iPhone.
Use what you got.
Right.
You know,
We are on our
Yeah.
front porch in sunlight doing it ourselves. People think we have this studio. They think it's a whole tribe of people helping us, and it's just
Man,
us.
it's really, you know, you take what you have. I mean, we had a nice camera that that broke, and we just started using the iPhone. It's right there.
What app is
and,
it that you use?
VSCO. Well, you can use VSCO or Snapseed or what else? There's some other ones.
Some of them make the
Yeah.
camera better on the iPhone.
And it definitely helps. And what I did was just, like, I already collected this stuff. It was just like, okay, well, I just want to put the shirt next to what I already was creating anyway. It's really what inspires the shirt. So I just took what I had and put it around. Just you kind of figure out through some couple of well-placed YouTube tutorials of figuring out how to find the right lighting. You can make your iPhone work some wonders.
So do you guys feel like that's been helpful to your brand, kind of showing your hand a little bit, like constantly pushing people towards where your inspiration comes from? Because a lot of people hide that, you know?
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, I used to be like that going to school, like as an artist, you're like, oh, we would have like your artistic archetypes and all that stuff in architecture and art class, but you didn't really want to show who was inspiring you. I think for me, it was like it get to a point like, why even hold it back? If you look hard enough, you can find where someone's got an idea from. It's really not hard. So like, why not show it? I mean, I think we're all standing on the shoulders of giants anyway. Like, why not even show like, hey, this is where I'm coming from? And I think people respect that because there's lots of other people who are like, yo, I love that too. I mean, I like this vintage tin, or I like some old moonshine bottle too. And that's
With
kind
the
of
help of social media, we have so many avenues to create and connect with the other people. Like I said, even meeting them all the way here in Memphis, and here we are in Texas. Just use that and build your community through that, as well as the people that are around you. Use that and build your community where you're at as well, because there's always someone else that's thinking like minds think alike. Like I said, birds of a feather flock together.
Let's do a couple more.
You guys clearly do your research, and I was wondering if you have any favorite like research platforms.
all the above. I would say internet. You can just look on Instagram, Tumblr. You can look on anything. I think what it is. You find if you can figure out what's the right type of words. It sounds weird, but the right say like you like vintage goods or that gets you a start. And okay, well, there's like a vintage tin crows made by Mark's company, and you like look that up. That'll lead you to somewhere else, and it's kind of like you find this web of stuff, and if the more you kind of go in, if you go down a rabbit hole, you'll find a lot of stuff.
So Google.
Yeah, I mean Google. I think
Google's our favorite
Tumblr,
one.
like for pictures, but then you'll find that you find different niches of like little communities, and that's where it kind of started from. You'll see like similar, say the same people that sell stuff on eBay, and say if they're on Instagram, they're usually putting up some of the stuff, and then you see people who are following them, then you see the people who are following those people, and you kind of keep on going, and then before you know it, you're like, shit, I'm in this whole different world, and it's pretty cool, and that's how I kind of fell into it,
All right, we had one more right up in here.
Oh.
Right there, SO, what's up?
So, as far as inventory, and do you have a lot of product on hand, or is it kind of like as people? How does that?
Well, we started off with one simple model, limited edition, keep it simple. And what we did was we'll make so many designs. We started off with maybe 5 designs, sold those, and then we're like, okay, we're not making that no more. Go on to the next one. And one as a designer, that keeps it fresh for me. I get kind of bored sometimes with just making the same damn shirt over and over. Like, some things you just don't want to do. And I think for people nowadays, I think they like to see, it's a yearning just you see across the board that people want to see new things all the time. So to stay fresh, you have to kind of keep creating things, but not putting, like, you don't want to make, especially if you're first coming out, like, you don't want to make like 200 or 300 shirts and then you're only selling like 10, you're sitting on all this inventory. I'd rather sell little and
Just keep building the brand.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, is we just keep building it until we get bigger. Of course, people reach out to us, oh, we'd love to have you in our store. We'd love this. Okay, that's great, but that's not what we're going for right now, just because that's not, we like having an online store. We like being able to create that traffic, get our email list together, build that brand, so when we are having sales and do the things that we're doing, we can let people know. And most of the people that are following us know that we come out with a new line of shirts every
so often.
every other
maybe a
month,
quarter
probably.
or something like that. We're looking
Yeah.
at probably speeding up that.
So you know that
turnaround.
when you're getting a shirt from us, you're one of only a handful of people around the world that's wearing it. It's not going to be washed out. We don't want to wash grits out. As you saw with our family, we want this to have longevity, and
So,
that's the
you know,
biggest thing.
when it's good for the customer too. So, you know, you're walking down the street and you see someone else with the same shirt or the shirt you didn't get. You're like, oh snap. We're in the same gang. Like, yo, like, I love that brand. I love it too. And what the result of our extended vacation was, that it was kind of like that. It was like people realized that a lot of people were like becoming a community under grits. Like, we call it the grits game or the grits gang, and then it was kind of like the grits tribe. And it's, you know, it's different people politicking and getting together. And I think that's important when you're creating a brand, is that you create a tribe of people that also communicate with each other. And if your brand can be something that can link somebody to somebody else, man, that reinforces what you do a lot more.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Was this seriously your first talk?
Huh?
Was this your first talk?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the first.
So this is our first talk, guys. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you guys for speaking again.
Thank you.
I started following them on Instagram, same way. A friend of mine turned me on to their brand. They got killer stuff. And anyway, I'll let Dan wrap things up. Thank you again for coming and speak
Thank
with us
you,
in
and Dan.
Memphis.
Thank you, guys. Thank
And,
you, Creative Works.
Thank you.
Sit tight for a moment, and then we'll have a break. Thanks.
Yeah, guys, we're going to have about a 15 or 20-minute break. 3 o'clock, all 3 days are what we're kind of calling our wild card sessions, and we've got just kind of a really cool experience each day. And today, we've got a fairly exclusive screening of a new documentary called Graphic Means. And the producer of that film, Briar Levitt, she just got out of her taxi like 10 minutes ago, walked in the door, so she's here. She's going to intro the film. It's only been shown to 2 other audiences, and the last one was just about a month ago in Warsaw, Poland. So you guys are really in for a treat. This is a really cool thing that we have here. I'm super excited about it. I'm going to find an empty seat and watch it with you guys. We're going to make some popcorn, but I encourage you guys to get up, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, grab a beer, come back here in about 20 minutes. We're going to get going at 3 o'clock.